Ready for my first tarot reading on YouTube. How exciting! This is the setup. I actually just took an intro video and it was not recording. So here we go. These are the crystals. So pick the crystal that calls to you. Here we have Amethyst, then we have Tiger's Eye, and we have Selenite. Hello, beautiful beings, all my friends and my family, because we are all friends, we are all family. I welcome you to my first ever tarot reading on YouTube. I have been wanting to do this since 2026, and today is the right time, because there actually is no wrong or right time. There is just time and what you decide to do with it. So the right or wrong time comes with what you decide. It comes with your choice, and that's the power that we all have, is the ability to make choices. That's the power that we all have that no one can ever take away from us. Today is the Cancer new moon, and so it's just amazing, coincidental, nothing is a coincidence that I've decided to do my first reading today. Cancer to me is the crab, and it's the mother archetype, so it's what makes you feel nurtured and nourished from within. It's the safety that you have within yourself, because your outer world is just a reflection of your inner world, and safety is an inside job. The more you create safety in your inner world, the more that will be reflected in the outer world. So to begin, I have already lit this candle, and we invite the spirit of fire with us today for our reading. And fire is for alchemy, for transmutation. We are all alchemists. We are all capable of transforming the way that we feel. Again, it goes back to choice and what you choose. And then I also have this blue lotus with me here today. I love blue lotus. She is a very, very, very powerful plant medicine. Subtle and gentle, but very powerful nonetheless. And what I have found recently is that there is so much power in what is soft and gentle and subtle. And usually those things are more long-lasting as well, because at the beginning of my healing journey, I was doing very extreme things, because I used to be a very extreme person. And in some ways I still am, but I have calmed down a lot more. The first plant medicine ceremony I went to was an ayahuasca ceremony, which was, extreme, but that was part of my journey, that was part of my path. I needed to go to the deep end, and Mama Aya was calling me, and I listened, and she has truly been so transformative to me. And now my candle is leaking. So there are 3 crystals for you to pick from. We have Amethyst, which I think a lot of you probably have seen. It's the purple violet stone, and amethyst is really good for protection, purification, cleansing, and spirituality, and just like deepening your spiritual relationship with yourself. And then we have Tiger's Eye, and Tiger's Eye is a stone crystal for courage, strength, protection, and your fears, overcoming your fears. And then we have Selenite, the final one, and Selenite is a cleansing, purifying crystal again, and this is also a good crystal for raising your consciousness. So again, spirituality and the whole thing of we are all connected, we are all one. And I've been really called to this recently because I've had an intense few months and I've needed some cleansing and purification. So I've been really called to my Selenite and to my Tiger's Eye, because I've also been facing a lot of fears. So I invite you to close down your eyes and take a deep breath. I have a rosemary bundle here, and I am going to light this as well. Rosemary is a beautiful plant medicine as well. And rosemary is really good for cleansing, purifying, mental clarity, and for remembrance. Because with all my healing work, I thought I was trying to become someone new. I thought it was about like change and transformation. And it is, but it's actually about remembrance. It's about remembering who I am and returning to that, and just being fully, unapologetically, and authentically me. And that's what I invite you to do as well. So I'm just gonna waft this over our ear area, over the crystals, over our cards. And just take some nice deep breaths through your nose, all the way down to your stomach. And then big exhale out through your mouth. And then just do that for a few more times. And just relax into this moment. Let go of anything that is worrying you, concerning you. You are safe, you are held, you are loved. This is a time for you to receive. And whisper to yourself gently, it is safe for me to receive. It is safe for me to receive. I trust, I surrender, and I let go. So we have the amethyst, we have the tiger's eye, and the selenite. Feel into whichever crystal is calling to you. I invite any of my spirit guides, my ancestors, any angels, any benevolent beings that would like to help us with this reading. This is a timeless reading. You can listen to it at any time. Take what resonates and leave behind everything that does not. You have all the answers. You have everything you need. Sometimes you just need a little bit of help getting to them. So final cleansing deep breath through your nose all the way down to your stomach. And a big sigh out through your mouth. And I'm going to leave the time stamps below for you to pick which crystal you felt called to. If you picked the first crystal, which is amethyst, this is going to be your reading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some tarot cards, and then we have some oracle cards, and then we have some mediumship cards, and then we have some compassion cards. So this is just messages you may need to hear, any guidance. And as I said, take what resonates, leave behind anything that does not. Okay? So close your eyes, take a deep breath again. I'm going to pull 3 cards for you. So the first one is the overall energy in your life at the moment. The second one is something that you may be missing. And then the third one is going to be the advice card. So the energy for you to step more into. Okay, so the overall energy for you first. Is the 2 of Pentacles. The energy that you may not be seeing right now, or something that you may be missing. The 7 of Pentacles in reverse, and then your advice card is the 7 of Wands in reverse. So you have 2 reversals, and reversals to me always indicate some sort of like blockage or feeling like you're stuck. So for the overall energy first, you get 2 of Pentacles, and even when you look at this card, you can see this person is like juggling two things. And Pentacles is earth energy, so it's anything to do with the very earthly realm, so like money, possessions, career, your housing situation. And number 2 is the sign of duality, of balance, partnership. And so this card is saying that, you know, you may be at the beginning of something, or you're balancing, like juggling things at the moment. And there's ships in the background, there's like big waves, and the ships are there. And this card is a reminder that yes, you may be juggling like two things, multiple things at the moment, but it's like you're in this state because you're capable, because you can juggle these things. And you know, not every phase of life is going to be peaceful. Some phases of life are going to be hard and challenging, and those challenging phases are actually what show you your strength. Something that you may be missing, you have the 7 of Pentacles in reversed. So this card in upright means it's like you're doing the work, you're putting in the work, but you are not seeing any results, or you're not seeing the results that you want to see. It's like you're working and working and working and nothing is changing. But for you, this is coming up in reverse, and this is something that you might not be seeing, something that you might be missing. So I feel like this is actually just saying that even if you don't see the results that you want at the moment, like it's that quote of like, day by day nothing changes, but when you look back, so much has changed. And this card is saying to you, like, keep going. Even if you feel like you're not seeing any changes, keep going, because if you stop now, then you're definitely not going to see any changes. It's important to celebrate every aspect of life as well, like not just like the big achievements or the big goals, but like the small little things in life, because life is hard, life is full of suffering. So you have to intentionally make sure that you are celebrating every aspect of life. You know, even the little thing like getting up in the morning, that's a thing to celebrate. Having a house, having a bed, having clean water, those are all things to celebrate, because if you look at the alternative, you could be without a house, without a bed, without clean running water. And then your advice card, you get the 7 of Wands, and this is in reversed. And so the 7 of Wands, like upright, it's the card of like conflict. It's the card of feeling like you're all by yourself and you're doing everything by yourself and you're having to like fight for yourself. And also you have 2 7s and they're both in reversed. And 7 is a very spiritual number. 7 is the card of reflection, retreating within, of revisiting the past, of remembering things. And with the advice and this coming up for you in reversed, I feel like it's saying like, stop biting your tongue to keep the peace. Stop not saying how you really feel to keep the peace, because are you being you, or are you just trying to keep the peace? A lot of times we are very considerate of other people, and sometimes a bit too considerate of other people, that we don't express how we feel. We don't express what we want, because we want to make sure that the people around us are comfortable and happy. But in the long run, that does a lot of damage, because then you start to feel resentment towards that person. So I always believe that if you respect someone, you tell them the truth. And of course, the way that you say it, the delivery is also very important. Like, you know, there's a difference between saying to someone, oh my God, you hurt me so much, I hate you. Or like, when you did this thing, it hurt my feelings, and I'm telling you because I love you and I want to improve things. And that's the energy I'm getting with this card, is that if you've been biting your tongue for the sake of keeping the peace, stop doing that, because that doesn't create peace. That just creates more, that's like passive aggressiveness, and that's what creates that's what actually creates chaos in the long run, because you're like just sweeping things under the carpet, and then one day like the carpet is gonna, you know, be so uneven that you're gonna trip over the carpet, and you know, it's just, yeah, you're not gonna get what you want by not voicing how you actually feel and what you want and how you think. But the delivery is very, very important. So remember that, you know, we're all human beings. We all make mistakes. Everyone is trying their best. But the best thing, and the only thing you can do, is be honest about who you are and how you feel. Because a lot of times we're scared to like be honest, because we think, you know, if we say something, then the other person might not like it and they might leave or whatever. But the thing is, like, do you really want to be around people where you can't be yourself? Do you really want to be around people where you can't express yourself authentically? Because one thing I know for sure is that it's very draining to not be yourself. It's so incredibly draining to not be yourself. And I like, this message is a message that I resonate with a lot, because I spent most of my life just being who other people wanted me to be. And it was like, you know, I spent my whole life making sure everyone else around me was comfortable, only to realize that I was so uncomfortable the whole time. But during that time, because I was so used to just suppressing my needs, wants, and desires, I didn't realize I was so uncomfortable. Like I knew, you know, you always have that niggling feeling that you're not happy, but then you just ignore it because you're trying to keep the peace. You're trying to make sure everyone around you is comfortable and happy. But yeah, I'm here to tell you, in the long run, that does a lot more damage than you think. So I'm going to pull a Divine Feminine Oracle card for you. And you get Enheduanna, the High Priestess. I am one with my soul, and my soul is a legacy of love. Beautiful card. I am going to offer you the Enheduanna embodies the ability to become one with our soul, to live out our highest purpose. When your soul selects her card, we each have a personal myth. We each have an Ishtadeva, a personal deity who inspires and compels us to bring heaven right here on earth by moving us with the fierce conviction that we're divinely led. Enheduanna encourages us to integrate our light and our dark, to bring our unconscious aspects of self into consciousness. She wants you to live and breathe your soul. She wants you to become so intimate with it that there is no longer any separation, and there are no more excuses or apologies for how powerful you are. You are the High Priestess. You are this eternal, she whispers. Your holy heart is this legendary. Soul voice meditation. What allows me to experience the reality of my soul? I'm sure speaking your truth is one of them. And then we're going to pick a mediumship card. So, soul guidance. Making time for activities that contribute to your spiritual growth and psychic development is not a sign of selfishness. It's more of a necessity. By doing so, it will make you a better medium and have a major impact on your overall well-being and spiritual vitality. Because we are all psychic. We all have some sort of psychic abilities. It's just that we've not been taught how to use them. Spending time to focus on your soul's needs enables you to nurture yourself and expand your spiritual boundaries. Therefore, for 1 week, allow this card to encourage you to do things that are uncharacteristic for you. Speaking your truth. In other words, do things that you never normally do. During this time, surrender and trust in your intuitive psychic abilities completely. If you feel that you've always wanted to have lunch with someone at work but never made the effort, then make this week the time to ask. If you feel drawn to call a relative whom you've not spoken to in a long time, then make the call. If you feel inspired to learn something new, then take a class or workshop. Trust and follow your gut and use all your psychic senses. After doing this for 1 week, don't forget to journal your new discoveries or revelations that resulted by following your inner guidance. Sometimes when you follow the prompting of your soul, it leads to unexpected opportunities. This amazing exercise will teach you how the flow of intuition runs through you and works for you. So why not start living intuitively and less analytically? And then a compassion card. $38. Don't seek others' pain as the limbs of your happiness. Commentary. Don't build your happiness on the suffering of others. Build your happiness on yourself, on your joy, on what you want, need, and desire. So I hope the message resonated for you. Leave a comment below if it did. And I will see you in the next one. If you picked the second crystal, which is Tiger's Eye, this is your reading. I am going to pull 3 tarot cards. The first one is going to be the overall energy in your life right now. The second one is something you may be missing. And then the third one is going to be the advice card, the energy for you to embody. So again, just close down your eyes, take a deep breath. Take whatever resonates and leave behind anything that does not. So the first card you get is the Four of Swords in reversed. The second card, the World in reversed. And your advice card is the Queen of Swords. So, you have 2 swords and a major arcana. So there's probably like major things happening in your life, like big shifts and changes. With the sword, I'm feeling there's probably a lot of mental confusion, mental chatter, and like you're struggling to find the clarity. So with the first card being the Four of Swords in reversed, the overall energy is that you have been putting in the work and you have been actively trying to change things in your life, to improve things in your life, and particularly in terms of like your mental health and how you think, how you see the world, your perspective. And four is an even number, which is usually a more passive number, and it means it's stable, you know, and stability is really, really good. There's phases of our life where we need stability, but sometimes stability can, like the comfort, can be the thing that is limiting us. And with the Four of Swords in reverse, because upright, this card is the energy of like feeling like not much is changing and just waiting. But then for you, it's coming up in reversed, and reversals usually represent like something that is blocked, something that is missing, something that you might not be seeing. So for you, this card, I feel like it's saying like you've been putting in the work and you're not being passive about it. You are being active. You are, actively making changes, trying to change things. So you're probably like, listening to affirmations, like saying affirmations, journaling, all of those things. But there's a part of you that still feels like you can't really like relax. You can't trust that the changes are actually happening. But this card is saying that even though you might not be seeing it, all the work that you're putting in will pay off. And it is paying off, because that drive and that hunger that you feel to change things in your life, that's a gift. That's a gift. And a lot of times when we feel uncomfortable, which is, like growth starts outside of your comfort zone, and like when you start growing, it feels uncomfortable, it feels sticky. There's so many parts that are moving and you feel like you don't have stability. That is not a nice way to feel. But I want you to really lean into that feeling and trust it, because that means you are growing and that means you are changing. And then with what you might be missing, you get the world, and you get the world in reverse. And whenever this card comes up, because this is in upright, it's like this, right? But it's for you, it's coming up reversed, and this is in something that you might not be seeing, which again, I feel like it ties in with that first card of like, things are shifting for you, things are changing for you. You might not see it with your visible eyes, but on some level you probably feel it. And even the fact that you've made this decision that you want to change things, that you want to improve things, that in itself is a huge thing, because awareness is like half of the step, half of the journey. Like once you're aware of things, only then can you actively make changes. And awareness is such a huge piece, because being able to even accept the fact that you're not happy with where you are, that you want to make changes, that you want to grow, that's a huge step, and that's a thing to celebrate in yourself. And a lot of times, we are looking for like external validation. We want people on the outside to like clap for us, celebrate for us. But the world, your outer world, is just a reflection of your inner world. And the more you learn to celebrate yourself, the more you learn to sit in that discomfort and embrace it and like be uncomfortable in the discomfort, the more your outer world will reflect the changes that you want as well, because everything starts from within you. And yeah, I just want to say I'm very proud of you for doing the work that you're doing, even if other people may not see it, even if you don't see it yourself at times. Consistency is the most important thing with anything in life. Like, if you want something, you need to be consistent at it. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people don't get what they want, don't get to where they want to be, is that they're not consistent. Like when they don't see results, like, the first few days, the first few weeks, the first few months, the first few years, they give up. But it's like when you really want something, you have to be willing to work at it, even if there are no results for a long time, because you're doing this for you. You're in it for the long run. And your soul chose this. You chose this. And so I want you to like, they're both reversed. Both reversed. Both, it's like you're not seeing the work that you are putting in, and the amount of strength and stamina it takes to rewire your brain and to like, change yourself and to heal yourself and to, return to your natural state of peace and love and ease. And then, this is like very beautiful, because then your advice card is the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords, I mean, look at her like sitting on her throne, and she's like commanding things, she is in her power, she is rooted, she is grounded. But the swords represents your mind, it represents the thoughts, the intellects, and it's like it's the clarity and the discernment, because discernment is very, very important. You need to have the discernment of what is worth your energy and what is not, because a lot of times we struggle because we don't have that discernment, and we end up like giving our energy to like loads of different things, when really, it's the consistency and the focus that will get you the results that you want. The Queen of Swords also, for you, I feel like it's saying like to be more decisive, to trust yourself, to listen to yourself, because ultimately only you know what is best for you. You have all the answers within you. Sometimes you just need a little bit of help getting to them, and hence why you're here with this reading. And of course it's good to get guidance when you need it, like externally, but ultimately, like, the journey is about trusting yourself and listening to yourself, because yeah, you are the person who knows yourself best. You know what is right for you, you know what is not right for you, you know what is healthy, you know what is helpful and what is not. So with this, it's the discernment, using your discernment, trusting yourself and listening to yourself. And like a tip for this is to like really, like when you have to make a decision, like don't rush into it, just like sit with it. And rather than being in your head, try to be in your heart, try to be in your body. If you're a woman, be in your womb, connect to your womb, and notice how you feel. Like say for example, you have to make a decision, and if it's a yes, notice how that makes your body feel. If it's a no, notice how that makes your body feel. You know, one like for example, because I don't really believe that there is a right or wrong. There is just different choices, and then each choice will only be as fruitful as you make it. But one decision will ask you to grow, to step outside your comfort zone, and that will feel scary and uncomfortable. But then the other choice will be the one that lets you stay comfortable and be small, and like it won't necessarily bring you growth. But in saying this, I will say that in order to grow, like, you really need to first have the safety within you, because if you push yourself too much, then that's also going to be detrimental. So it's that discernment, building safety within yourself, building trust within yourself, and the discernment. So I'm going to pick a Divine Feminine Oracle card for you. And you get Anandamaima, the joy-permeated mother. And listen to this. I am my own guru. I know the self that never changes. See, you are your own guru. Like no one else knows you the way that you know yourself. So let's see, what is her message? Anandamaima represents the essence of the expansive joy that comes when we remember our true selves. Her first disciple named her Anandamaima, joy-permeated mother, because her blissful states would inspire others to remember their innate path to joy. She refused to be called a guru, insisting that we are all ultimately one self. So when your soul selects her card, there's a passage in Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda that relates an encounter he had with Anandamaima. He asked her why she's always so filled with joy and can enter states of bliss instantly. She explains to him that she's aware of her true self. She knows that before she came to earth, she was the same. As a little girl, and later when she grew into a woman, still she was the same. And now, sitting in front of Yogananda, she remains the same. And even after death, she says, though the dance of creation changes around me, I shall be the same. This is self-realization, merging with that aspect within us that never changes. We are a soul having a human experience. It's becoming conscious of the self that is eternal while within this brief mortal experience. Anandamayi Ma believed that the only true calling or purpose any of us have is to become realized, and so she believed that any action we take toward that goal is sacred. Soul voice meditation. What does joy feel like in my body? What does joy feel like in my body? So when you have to make those decisions and you're being more discerning, what does joy feel like in my body? And choose the thing that feels joyful. The intention, I am my own guru. I know the self that never changes. And then we're going to pick a mediumship card. So this is just something that you can do to help you connect with yourself more, trust yourself more, and deepen the trust and the discernment that you have. Spirit communication process. Spirit is your soul essence. It's the spark of the divine in the center of your being. It's the part of you that existed long before you incarnated into this physical form and will continue long after you leave this world. It's this very essence that mediums connect with during communication. From spirit, through spirit, to spirit is a common mantra that mediums use to remember the purpose and process of mediumship. It's the formula in which the energy of spirit flows during communication. It's the understanding that the soul essence of those departed connects to the soul essence of the medium, which then connects to the soul essence of the living recipient. In simple terms, it's a three-way link. When this three-way soul communion process is in perfect sync, there's a beautiful and seamless flow of communication filled with the energy of love and healing. To practice, simply sit across from your sitter who's open to connect with a departed loved one. As the medium, allow yourself a quiet moment to breathe and center yourself. Invite a loved one's spirit to draw close. Feel the presence of the spirit envelop you, allowing their soul essence to connect and merge with yours. Complete the connection by extending your energy to the soul essence of the sitter. Be still for a moment in this wonderful flow of energy, sensing, feeling, and hearing. Share any information with your sitter for validation. So for you, I feel like it's saying to connect with your soul, connect with your spirit. And you do that by sitting and breathing deeply and giving yourself that time and space to really feel into your desires, your wants, your needs. And your desires are sacred. The reason why you desire the things that you desire is because you already have it. Because that's what's meant to happen. Okay, so your compassion card, number 32, don't wait in ambush. Don't wait for the moment when someone you don't like is weak to let them have it. This may bring immediate satisfaction, but in the long run, it poisons you. Again, the discernment. If you need to say something to someone, say it. Don't wait until they're weak. Don't wait until they're in a vulnerable position so that you can, feel more powerful. Just say it when you feel it. And finally, if you picked Selenite, the third one, this will be your reading. So I am going to pull 3 tarot cards. The first one is going to be your overall energy at the moment. The second one is going to be something that you might be missing. And then the third one is going to be the advice card, so the energy for you to embody. So again, just closing down the eyes, taking a deep breath in through the nose and a deep breath out through the mouth. So your first card is Judgment. Your second card is the 9 of Pentacles. I'm hungry, I need to eat. And your third card is The 10 of Wands in reversed. Ooh, okay. So the story I'm feeling for you is that like you are judging yourself a lot. You're judging yourself and you're judging other people as well, because when you are judging other people, it's really the self-judgment that you hold for yourself. And the less you can let go of the judgments that you hold for yourself, the less you will judge other people as well. And I say this from experience because this is something that I'm constantly working through. And what helps me is knowing that life is not black and white. Life is actually in the grey, and there are so many shades of grey, and that, you know, everyone is going to have their own very personal, unique experience of life, and like, really, who am I to judge them? I don't like it when people judge me, so why am I judging other people, right? But it's much easier said than done, because as human beings, like, it's very natural to judge, like that thought that comes up initially, but it's not getting carried away with that thought. It's not making that thought your identity, because like 90%, like it's like 5% of our brain is conscious and 95% is unconscious. So a lot of times the judgments that come up, it's from our unconscious, that were formed like when we were children, when we were not consciously taking things in. So the first card you get is the Judgment. So yeah, that's what I feel with the Judgment card. It's like anytime someone is very judgmental, that's the judgments that they are holding for themselves. And with Judgment, it really just comes down to safety, like feeling safe in yourself, and it's about fear. Like, Judgment is almost always about fear, because we only judge the things that we don't understand, that we don't really know about. So I think life is just fear or love, and when you are in fear, that's when you judge. But when you're in love, then you can like let go of the judgments a little bit more, because you can have that like wider perspective, that you don't know this person's whole story, you don't know the things that they've been through, the challenges that they've been through. And yeah, it's very easy to judge someone at face value, but that judgment just comes from fear, and it comes from like contraction and not trusting, because ultimately I do like really believe that everything in life is happening for a reason. And like when there are horrible things happening in the world, which there are on the daily, like it's happening for a reason. There's like a greater good, and there's you know, things usually always get worse before they get better. Because it's like, if you think about childbirth, like if you walked into a woman giving birth, you'd be like, oh my god, stop, what's happening, this is horrible, she's in so much pain, stop. But then the woman continues the process, and then a beautiful child is born, and it's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, you know, like the caterpillar has to completely dissolve, completely die, like go into mush in order for it to become a butterfly. And this is what I found about the healing process, is that it's about death. It's about death, and a life well lived, you don't die just once, you die multiple times. Because to become the person that you want to become, which is really just like, it's not really about becoming, it's about remembering who you are, like on the inside, like on a soul level. You have to let go of so many identities and narratives and stories that you are holding, that you are attached to, and that's death. That's the ego death that people talk about with plant medicines as well. Is that yeah, like the plant medicines show you these things that you don't want to look at, these parts of you that you don't want to look at, because only 5% of your mind is conscious, the 95% is unconscious. And usually for a lot of people, for all of us, like the unconscious is what is running our show. And that's why I'm so big on healing and everything that I do. And then, so yeah, that's the Judgment card. That's like the overall energy right now. And my right ear is ringing. So basically, stop judging yourself. Stop being so harsh on yourself, because the more loving and open and accepting you can be with yourself, the more you will naturally be that way with other people. And I say this from personal experience because I've had very harsh judgments on myself, and I've been very judgmental of other people, but that judgment that I project onto other people, it's always the judgments that I'm holding on myself. And then what you're missing is the Nine of Pentacles, and I love this energy, and it just makes sense that this is the card that comes up for what you're missing, because what you're missing is that you are flourishing, like you are living. You're not just surviving, you are living now. You are like in your joy, in your comfort, in ease, in trust, in surrender, in flow, but you're not seeing that. Like, you're not allowing yourself to feel that energy. You're not allowing yourself to celebrate how far you have come, how strong you are, how brave you are, how courageous you are, for everything that you have done up until this point for you to be exactly where you are. And I really believe like everything happens for a reason, and all the challenges and the hardships, which I feel like you probably have had with the Judgment card as well, all of those situations, the challenges, they were there because they were helping you grow, and they were helping you to step into your power, to remember your power, and to be in your power. And especially if you're a woman, because this is like a very, obviously like a feminine card, it's like, yeah, you're in the phase of joy and ease and surrender. And surrender is not passive. Surrender is very active, because surrender is trusting that everything will work out, even when you can't see how, even when you don't see the way. Because manifesting is just about believing that you are worthy of what you want, believing that it will happen, letting go of how, and just trusting, surrendering, trusting and surrendering. And I used to think surrender was so passive, and I used to think it meant like giving up and just allowing things, but it's actually the opposite. And like if you're a man as well, it's like, you know, really like embracing the feminine energy, which is really like the feeling and the being and the relaxing and the receiving. And look, and there's a little snail there, and it's like slowing down is the most courageous act. And yeah, it's about going at a snail's pace, because you want to grow with safety and with comfort, because that's the growth that will actually be, that's the growth that you can actually maintain. And you can, because you know, it's like we do all these spiritual practices, and at the beginning, like with anything in life, like at the beginning it's very hard, but once you keep on doing it, then it becomes natural. Like going to the gym, like your muscles, you like making them stronger. At the beginning it's hard, but then as you keep on going, you get stronger, and then it's not so hard anymore. And that's the same thing with everything in life, and especially with like listening to your intuition and trusting yourself. It's a self-trust is a muscle that you build over time, the more you trust yourself. And then the advice card you get is the 10 of Wands in reversed. And yeah, this card upright is like, it's like when you've reached the ending of something, like you've achieved the thing that you wanted to achieve, and instead of feeling happy, you just feel like this huge burden, like you don't feel the fulfillment and the sense of completion that you thought you would. Instead, you just feel like, oh my god, this is a big burden. But this is coming up in reversed for you, and this is your advice card. So I feel like it's saying like you have achieved the thing that you wanted to achieve, and it might not look how you wanted it to look, it might not be exactly what you thought it was going to be, but you have reached the end, you have completed this phase, and you don't need to, I mean, always honor how you feel, but like what you feel is not always true. Sometimes how we feel is just an old feeling that's, you know, been so constant and permanent in our lives. Like for example, me, I keep on feeling like a failure, keep on feeling like a victim, and I'm like, what? And I always used to try to fight the feeling because I didn't want to feel those things. But I realized, like, when I just allowed myself to feel it, like, I could get to the other side of why I was feeling it. And the reason I feel those things is because, like, I'm not meant to be, well, I don't want to be working as a dentist, like, and that is my fuel that keeps me going to build the business that I want, and, you know, me doing this video that I'm doing today. And so honor how you feel, but I want to offer you a perspective shift of, like, yeah, it might not be exactly what you want. It might not look exactly how you wanted it to, but it is a completion of its own as well. And that life doesn't give you what you want, which it does a lot of times as well, but life always definitely is giving you what you need. So whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through right now, life is giving this to you as a gift. And if it's a challenge, then it's for you to grow. And I'm feeling like it is probably like a challenge, or like, you know, like just not feeling satisfied with where you are. And that in itself is a gift, because it means, like, you can keep on going. And you probably will keep on going, because life is about growth and change, and it never stops. So let's pull a Divine Feminine card for you. Yeah, so you get Yamoja, the mermaid, the goddess of all that flows. I am an ocean of creative energy. I give birth to what exists within me. And I feel like that makes sense with the reading we've had, and especially like the last advice card, because you are an ocean of creative energy. Like, you have so much to create, so much to give, so much to share. And that passion and that desire that you have is a gift. And yeah, give yourself permission to give birth to that, to, you know, allow it to exist. Who she is. Yamoja represents the creative force of the unconscious, the secret depths that bring the unseen into the physical realm. The African goddess Yamoja gave birth to all the 14 gods and goddesses in the Yoruba religion. She's caring and nurturing, and yet also fiercely protective and strong, with a desire to relieve her children of any struggles or sorrows. When your soul selects her card, Yamoja creates a flow where before there was a block or stagnation in our life force. When we feel uninspired or stuck in life or in a creative endeavor, from having a child to writing a book, Yamoja is the feminine essence that sets our energy back in motion. As a mermaid, she exists both in the wild and also in the unseen depths. She can help us dive deep into the unconscious or into the collective unconscious and retrieve the hidden secrets, all the wise pearls that we need to integrate now for our life to flow again. As the queen of the ocean, she baptizes us to start over, to begin again right now, to let everything become brand new. She encourages us to use water as a ritual to send out our offerings to her, to bless our bodies in a warm bath, or to walk along a body of water and allow its perspective to give us the answers or blessings we seek. So yeah, when you're in a bath, like anytime you take a shower, just ask for the cleansing and like ask for what you want. Take a walk by a river, a pond, and again, like sit with that. Yamoja wants to cleanse us of the thoughts that are holding us back. Why do children calm down after a bath? Why do we feel healed and more centered after a nice long soak? Water is the element that held us in the womb. The return to our first and most primal element, the loss of gravity, the freedom of buoyancy. This allows us to release feelings or thoughts of being trapped or stuck. Yamoja reminds you to use your trail. You are not of this earth, you are of the sea. You are a soul having a human experience. Soul voice meditation. What do I need to bring from out of the depths into the material world? What do I need to bring out from the depths into the material world? So sit with that and see what comes up for you. And then the intention, I am an ocean of creative energy. I give birth to what exists within me. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please leave a comment or a like if it resonated, and if you would like to book for a personal one-on-one tarot reading or birth chart reading, you can book on my website. I will put the link below in the caption. Thank you, and it was such an honor to share this space with you and share these energies with you, and I hope you got some messages that have been helpful for you. But at the end of the day, trust yourself, listen to yourself. You have all the answers within you. Sometimes you just need a little bit of help getting to them.